consortium involving 9 companies is helping amplify the voices of Black-owned businesses. Known as the Empower Project, the group is collectively aiming to invest $700,000 in services to companies in the consumer packaged goods space. Let's bring in Kyle Gardner. He is the co-founder and CEO of Dobson Avenue Capital Partners. Kyle, it's good to talk to you today. Let's start by talking about what exactly the Empower Project is doing here. You're specifically aiming this at the CPG space. What are you planning to do here with the $700,000 in investments?
Yeah, essentially, well, first off, thank you for having me on. Appreciate it. But essentially, we're trying to really have an impact and bring lasting change to the entrepreneurs that are participating and to grow Black voices of entrepreneurship in the CPG space. So in my own personal story, my grandparents were educators who turned into entrepreneurs by starting their own business in the hair care space, actually, in the 70s, and to help support their 4 kids. And they had a tough time trying to get money when they wanted to build their business and take it to the next level. That's when they actually met my business partner, Adam Robbins, who was a banker fresh out of business school at the time, and he lent them his full lending authority. But because of some inequities and issues, he's actually threatened to be fired as a result of making that loan. But they went on to grow and scale the business afterwards, nonetheless, and eventually sold it to L'Oreal in the late 90s. So essentially, I saw the trickle-down effect from that story firsthand, and the entrepreneurship that came out of that story, from the employees that went on to start their own businesses, employees that went on to go work for Fortune 500 companies, and just the basic blocking and tackling of people being able to buy their own homes, put their kids through college from that story. And we're really trying to recreate that here in Chicago to other Black-owned businesses to try and help amplify and help them take that next step that they need.
Yeah, and you're going to let eligible businesses here, revenue between $150,000 to $10 million apply. When you look at the CPG space, though, it seems like there has been a push from some of these retailers out there to dedicate shelf space to minority-owned projects. Why focus in on the CPG space? Is that just one that's, tethered to kind of these relationships with bigger stores and something that maybe traditionally hasn't been there for underrepresented communities?
Yeah, so essentially, from our standpoint, the reason we're focusing on CPG is because a wise man once said, "Do what you know." So that's certainly our focus, coming from the hair care space, and my business partner coming from the food space and banking. But also, it's where the founder of the program, Steve Gaither, and his group at CA Branding really help consult with marketers in the space. So, but you're correct. A lot of retailers are providing more emphasis on amplifying Black voices on shelf with whether it's end caps, et cetera, promotions. And we hope to feed off that with our brands. But certainly it's what we know, and they say, do what you know. So we thought this is how we could have the most impact for the entrepreneurs around us that are Black owned here in CPG.
Kyle, it feels like this year we have taken a significant step in at least having this conversation about supporting more minority-owned businesses in a broader discussion that's happening about equality as well as the need for more diversity. Yesterday, we had the NASDAQ come forward and say that they are now going to require more transparency for companies listed there, requiring that the board includes one woman as well as one diversity hire. I'm curious, as somebody who is working very closely with some of these Black-owned businesses, how you view that. How significant is it? And ultimately, does that kind of trickle down to sort of the smaller businesses in terms of awareness of the need for more capital and to support these minority-owned companies?
Yeah, so actually a local VC group here in Chicago called Chicago Blend publishes their own data. They're committed to increasing DEI representation amongst VCs and their portfolio companies. And they actually did some preliminary studies on the representation of Black leadership and entrepreneurship of color to the board level and vice versa. And they found that a lot of the businesses that had representation at both levels tended to be more diverse in nature. And obviously, we know from studies in kind of organizational behavior that the more voices and different perspectives you have at the board level and leadership level, the more competitive you are. So certainly, I think it's not only good business, but it's also great for the community and increasing the representation of those who have unfortunately been left out of some of these conversations.
Kyle Gardner, the co-founder and CEO of Dobson Avenue Capital Partners. It's great to have you on today.
Thank you.